Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on January the 24th, 2020. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we'll get started with our calendar here. In terms of the news today, we saw a big drop in euro. We saw a big drop in euro, and that was due to the monetary policy statement here from ECB. Overall, it was dovish, and we saw a big drop in euro as a result of that. So euro is going to be weaker now. There was also, they're going to review their monetary policy. So we'll have to see what kind of changes come up. But overall, they are concerned about the economy. And then another piece of data here that had an impact on the market today was were the numbers here, the CPI number we had talked about. This is an important number that the central banks track. And this came in above expectations. So as a result of this, we have seen New Zealand dollar go up. Now we do have manufacturing PMI numbers coming up for Japanese yen here. So if these numbers are above the expectations, that will be good for Japanese yen, which means the yen crosses would drop, and vice versa here. Now we do, sorry, lost my train of thought. Okay, next, coming up here on Friday, a busy day. A lot of expect volatility in the market here. We have PMI numbers. Now, PMI numbers are precursors to retail sales. They're leading indicators. That's why these PMI numbers actually are market moving. With the PMI numbers, if they are below expectations, then we are likely to see euro drop even further. However, if the PMI numbers are positive, we could see some of the euro strength come back. So just keep that in mind. And then we have another ECB statement here, but unless she says something that is different than what was said today, I would not expect a big movement out of that. However, we have PMI numbers here for pound that will again be market moving for a British pound here if they are not in line with expectation. We also have Treasury Secretary speaking here for out of the US here. That could impact the US dollar depending on what he says. And then core retail sales numbers for Canada, as well as flash manufacturing PMI numbers for US. And then, so overall, a lot of data in London session, and then in the beginning of our New York session, but then it should be a quiet day after that. All right, so let's go on to our charts now. We'll start off with euro dollar. We saw that price dropped quite a bit for euro here, so bias is bearish. Now price is into support, so just be mindful of that because things can turn around, especially if the PMI numbers come in. Above expectations, that could push the euro up. But overall, though, bias is to the downside. I would look for a potential pullback into 1.1070 and then a drop. So first target here is 1.10 and then 1.0980. So bias is bearish for euro dollar. Pound dollar here, with this one, price is still into that resistance level. It's been trading in this range for a bit here, and it's at the top of the range. Now, if it doesn't go through the high, then we could see price come back towards the middle and then the bottom of the range here. This is looking like this is a range bound move here. So my bias would be to the downside here within this range. And in terms of the target here, the first target is 1.3085 and then 1.3030. So overall bias is bearish here with pound. Now, should it break the high, this one could go even higher. So that's the only thing to keep in mind. If it breaks the top of the range here. This one could go all the way into 1.3280. So it's very important that we keep an eye on this 1.3150 level. So as long as it stays below 1.3150, I would look for it to drop. Aussie dollar here. Aussie has had quite a move, and we saw that with the positive numbers, price had gotten pushed up, but now that move actually got undone and it's trying to push it's trying to push back up again. And we have a large pin. So with this one here, it's interesting. My bias here is neutral. With the long pin here, this suggests that price could move lower. However, it's still sitting sideways here. It hasn't really committed to a new direction, whether that's reversal or continuation yet. What I would keep in, or what I would look for, would be a pullback into 0.6855, and if it holds below that level, we could see price drop. Now, it could also go to retest the high. So that's another level to keep in mind, and then we could see a drop from there. So those are the two levels I would keep an eye on. The first one is 0.6855. Second would be 0.6880. So overall bias neutral for Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar here, this one hasn't gone through the support. It tested this support several times here. Now we have a bullish engulfing candle close. The numbers came in positive, and bias is now to the upside. So looking for price to move into 0.6650. So bullish bias here for New Zealand dollar, and then above that we have 0.6665. So bullish bias for New Zealand dollar. Dollar CAD here, we have a bearish pin bar. So it went into the resistance, and then this one has dropped. So bias is bearish here. I will look for a pullback into, let's see what this level is here. I will look for a pullback into 1.3150 and then a drop here. So bias is bearish for dollar CAD. All right, silver here. Silver is neutral. We see that price has been testing this support level for several days now. It hasn't really managed to close below it or hold below it. At this point, it is neutral. Now, overall though, still a little bias to the downside. So I would look for price to retest the support, and if it doesn't go through 17.65, it can reverse and go back towards the middle first and then top of the range here. So bias here is neutral, and I'm looking for price to drop into retesting the support level here. If it holds above, looking for it to go up further. A lot of times we see that when price doesn't, price is testing a level and it just fails to break it continuously, it then usually turns around. So just something to keep in mind. Gold here, gold is still struggling with that resistance level. It is trading in this range at the top of the range here. Now, if it does break through, I will look for it to go into 1578 and then 1588. But right now, the candle close for the day is neutral. So if it doesn't break through the top of the range, this one is likely to drop as a result. But there is still bullishness. It's slowly trying to make its way higher. And if it breaks through the resistance at 1565, if it holds above, I will look for it to continue higher. So overall, it's holding the bullishness here. And a lot of times we find that when price holds on to this, it doesn't come all the way down. Generally, it does tend to go higher. Right now, though, it's just sitting in this range. And if it doesn't break 1565, it can come back down. So neutral bias for gold right now. Oil here, oil has been hit hard. And right now it is, it's looking bullish. It's been, sorry, bearish, my apologies. It's been looking bearish. It's been bearish for the last several days here. Now, the virus threat is actually negative for oil just because China uses a lot of it, and with Chinese economy being impacted by the virus, that would be negative here. So overall bearish bias, first target 54.80, and then the second target is 53.80. So bias is bearish for oil. Copper here, same thing. Copper is looking bearish. We have a nice bearish candle close. 2.65 is the first target here. Actually, 2.67 is the first target, and then 2.64 is the second target. So bias is bearish for copper. Bitcoin here, we were looking for a drop yesterday. It did drop through the support level. So this gives it, makes it more bearish now, gives it momentum to the downside. So bearish bias here, 8080 is the target here. So that's the first target. Second target would be 7720. So bias is bearish for Bitcoin. S&P 500, this is looking bullish. We have a bullish pin bar in place. Price has hugged the resistance level, hasn't quite broken through it yet, but it is looking bullish at the moment. So bullish bias here. In terms of our target, I would look at 3350 level first, and then 3400. So bias here is bullish for S&P 500, but keep in mind, if it doesn't break through this resistance at 3330, it could still turn lower, but right now it's holding on to that bullishness and could go further. So bullish bias for S&P 500. Nasdaq here, this one is totally bullish. We have a nice big bullish candle close. Next target is 9280, and we are very, very close to it. And then we have 9350 after that will be the next target. So bullish bias for Nasdaq as well. Dow Jones also looking bullish. This one did drop. We were looking for a drop yesterday. It did drop, and then it has gone back up. Bias is bullish here too, but this one doesn't look as bullish as the other two. So this one could turn, but bias is bullish for now. Target is 29,370. So I would be cautious with this one. DAX here, DAX is also looking bullish. It's still trading in that range that we had talked about. Prices into support. We have a bullish pin bar. I will look for price to go higher towards 13,580. So bullish bias for DAX. Footsie here. Let's go back. Again, it's back into that range. It did try to break out of it, but it closed inside it. So at this point, it's a neutral candle close for the day, but as long as it holds above 75.30, this is likely to go higher as well. So neutral bias for Footsie for now, but as long as it holds above 75.30, I will look for it to go higher. Nikkei here, this one is neutral as well. We did see a drop, and then it has pulled back since. So overall, it's neutral. We have a pin to the upside, pin to the downside, making it completely neutral. So I would look for it to essentially trade between these two levels here. So 24,000 on the top and 23,620 on the bottom. So neutral bias here for Nikkei. All right, so that's it for today. You guys have a wonderful trading day and a really good weekend, and I'll see you for the weekly analysis on Sunday. Bye for now.